research proposal and research administration, it's a very important topic. So I have given research proposal, designing, approval, funding and administration. These all are the steps which has to be very well understood, which will be very difficult for one to make a successful researcher. If any mistakes occurs in any, so I will just, what I am saying, in this presentation, I will share, exchange my ideas only, what I have learned. This presentation needs not to, because during this presentation, you might find something negative, but not to criticize, because if I say against administration, I am the part of the administration. So this is not to criticize, blame, or any person, because we make the system. So it is our responsibility how to do it, improve it. But all the same time, we have to remember, many rules and regulations are also framed, because some of our like us, who do not care many things, and that is the reason to control them, rules and regulations are fixed. In abroad, I have never seen such a rules and regulation, honestly speaking, but it is here. Here, it has to be there. There are various reasons. So, but the overall idea is to discuss and understand why I am giving this lecture. How can we write a good proposal to take the research challenge, implement we say, and make significant progress in our research. A good proposal writing, actually, very interestingly, in foreign I have seen workshop on abstract writing. I was very surprised. So I asked that who was my collaborator there. I asked him, what is the reason that I have never come across abstract writing? He said, this is a very unique, challenging technique you don't know. When you are submitting a paper, it may be 15 page long, 20 page long, you have to write a 250 word abstract. Your abstract should reflect, because nowadays, through the online system, editor receives, some of the good journals receive per month 200-300 papers, good journal. It is not possible for the editor, because where they will get reviewer? How many paper I review? Every day I receive 3 to 4 paper reviewing request. In a month I highly review 2. So you just imagine, 99% I reject. This is happening with most of the reviewers. Where is the reviewer? So they go through your abstract and read the abstract very carefully. If it is there, they will invite the reviewer. Otherwise, from there, they will directly. Very good journal. Thank you very much. Your paper is very nice, but it does not fit to the scope of this journal. Blah blah blah. Some standard journal format is there. They will not hurt your sentiment, and they will reject it immediately. Within next day, we get the rejection. Abstract writing is such important. They tell a story. They write a paper and say the student, you write 250 word abstract. Who is the best? They get the prize. So from I realized that how important is that 251 abstract, not writing the entire paper. It should reflect the work of my entire work. So that going through it, I can realize, yes, I have written some. The editor can realize this work is great. This is something novel, not the repetition of the earlier work. Similar way, writing a good proposal, many of my proposals were earlier rejected. Still yet, some of the times, there are various reasons of rejection. I will discuss here, which I have from experience, because many times I am also a member of the committee. I am also a long time associate with the Start College scheme of the DBT, who gives money. So every day we have access on an area 100 and 200 colleges. So I have that experience. Why do we need to understand that most of the research grant is supported by, what we need to understand, the funding is by using public money. This is a very important thing, is that in our country, research is being supported mostly by the government funding agencies. I have listed, and this is a public money. So we have no rights to laundering the money. It must be utilized for the purpose which is being given. You have to understand whatever research has been given, this is from public money, right? So many people are not getting their food, and we are raising in the AC air conditioning room using the public money, and so it must so therefore they are also very cautious, and that is the reason DBT nodal cell has been given. We have to regularly monitor those research facilities, that really work is going on or not. That is not possible from DBT to do. If not work, every stage we go, every 6 months, 1 year you have to go, so that then it must be noted, any flaw, failure in research, and any stage is the wastage of the national resources. So I will discuss different stages here. So different stages of the research project, if you can write, so you have to climb this one, like I have given a DNA ladder, one is climbing. I will discuss each and every problem, definition of the problem, gap in the study, literature review, formulation of research proposal and submission to the funding agency, execution of project if it is granted. Okay, if it is not granted, then again you have to come. So what is the execution of project? Achieving of research goals. So this is the target. You have given objectives. I have 4 objectives I have given. This must be fulfilled. And nowadays, every funding agency I have seen, they are organizing mid-term evaluation, end-term evaluation. Even UGC is saying that you have completed research proposal, very good. Some two reviewers who are professors and internationally on that field, you send your proposal to them, get their comment, along with that comment to give to the UGC. Now, what are the definition of the successful research projects? Everybody or of you have to write. Number one, achieving the target and solving the problem chosen. Generation of potential target for future research. Number one thing is that achieving the target and solving the problem chosen. If I have given some target, I have given some objective that I will do in case of science, even in case of arts, literature, whatever subject it may be, humanities, education, you have some target. So achieving this target, number two, generation of potential targets for future research. My research should always generate, open the scope for the future research, so those can be taken as again a target for the future research, because nothing can be complete. Research is an endless process. No one can say that I have completed this one. Small part of you will take, some next student will come, yours will in this one, next part. Training of manpower to generate human resource, PhD, MD, MSc. I have a very reserved thing here. Training of human resource to generate, it is not that we should give the PhD, MD, MS, whatever it may be, high degree. We have to train a student very nicely so that he or she is capable of writing project proposal in future. Now, publication of research papers in good journals, this is the one of the things. One must target publication of research papers in good index journals. Different kinds of science journal, art journal, humanities, they have a different kinds of publications. Several publications are there in the internet, which are costly. Even morning you will give, evening you can get the acceptance letter, because these are money. I think we should not target those kind of things for the sake of publications. Those targeted journals must be avoided. Some quality at our best level. Whatever best level, and day by day we can increase. It is when you start maybe from very small, but if we think that we shall excel, then definitely we can do much better in our life. So, in a good journal, which will be reputed in your chosen field of research, many of the field there is very less research. The filing of the patents, this is very good for the scientist. You should file patents as far as possible to block, otherwise your work will be utilized by some other people. It has come to my notice that some of the people have utilized their work, okay, my own work for making some reagents and other, and without giving any royalty or revenue. So this should be blocked. Final report, technical report preparation must be done with the project. Now, efficient utilization of research grant and submission of ECS in time. This is another area where we have to learn how to efficiently utilize the research grant. You have been given a grant for the purpose. It should be utilized very efficiently. Now, funding agencies for our country provide sufficient grants for pursuing good and productive research, I must admit. Some of the like DBT, Department of Biotechnology, my own area, oh my God, so much grant they are given. Okay, because this is a confidential thing, why should I say confidential? Now, I have given you, I want at the end a discussion, okay? List of funding agencies. List of funding agencies available. Mainly the science and engineering are more, they are very heavily budget one. Do I know who have more budget giving and less budget giving? But I should not describe here, because all Board of Nuclear Sciences, BRNS, is one very good funding agency. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Biotechnology, heavily funded for the biotechnology research, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, Indian Council of Medical Research. They also support many social science work. You should know that it is not like that the fund. Indian Council of Social Science Research, Indian Space Research Organization, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. They also support many kinds of projects which are not directly related to the hardcore science and medicine. They support. So, Department of Science and Technology. In addition, also there are several other funding agencies where you can find. Right, Indian Council of Historical Research is there, but they don't have a very heavy fund for research. And some UNICEF also funds some mass communication and journalism. I have said UNICEF funding is very good. Okay, World Health Organization one can try. In addition, there are various foreign bodies, foreign agencies who can also give funds, and one has to know the opportunity, like Fulbright. Fulbright fellowship is also very good fellowship, provided you have a good linkage with some countries where you can get, and you can get a leave of course from the university. Short-term, long-term fellowships are there, so one can avail those kinds of fellowships. So these are the just for a glance list of the funding agencies in available. All of them have a very good funding, and provided your research is very good. I mean, proposal is very good. For example, how can you define the genuine problem? Just blaming the system will not solve the problem. So it is a cartoon where I got somewhere from the internet that what is your problem? Then my guide is my original problem. So actually it was made, what is your research problem in the interview? So the answer was that my supervisor is my problem. So I mean, so one has to understand where is the real problem in the cartoon. The impediments in research, that is a constant, will vary from person to person. It may not be possible to all the address issues. I have seen. It is vary from person to person and perhaps not possible, but common problems are possible to address. What we require is to find some common measures and try to solve them all those in a research administration. This is the major thing, is that what is the common problem and how can I solve those common problems so we can move ahead. Not all the problems is perhaps not possible. Now, choice of research problem for the person is the key success. Otherwise, it may lead to the constraint in your research. Now, I will not go to the cartoon. The thing is that what research problem you are choosing, this is a very important thing. Why it is so? One must have, now there is the internet. It is a good, bad also in some way. Bad in that we have also access. So it comes to the, when we say for any research problem or anything comes to us or any research paper comes to us, we have also internet access. Then we see how many research has been done or paper are published on these areas. Whether this public, where the research is, there is anything novelty, anything new, or this is merely a repetition of earlier work. If it is something, repetition of earlier work, or it does not contribute significantly, it has no such thing, so I think you can have a research problem that it will not lead to a good researcher. Now, before writing a research proposal, please think very carefully. Those are some of the I won't say the suggestion, again I am sharing my experience, so that one can be a very good researcher and your research work should not be just rejected tag. The identifier problem is justify the context to India or your region, right? Whether it is India or this region, whatever you write, so you can justify that this problem is valid and I can do something. What is the socio-economic impact of this problem? Even sometimes scientists should not forget, whatever basic research you do, it must have some socio-economic importance. Where public money is coming from public money, how can I forget that socio-economic importance? If this is a novel idea or just repetition, slightly modified version of some earlier problems which are already addressed. Nowadays, with the help of internet, I am telling you, papers are available. Somebody tried to give some modified research. Reviewers are also known. When I review a research paper in a good journal, they gave me free database access to scouts and other things which are very costly otherwise. They say it is given valid for this month because you are a reviewer and giving you this opportunity. So I will give the password, not password, I will just simply give the keywords, on that area. Immediately all the work has been done will come. I can see whether it is a new one or not. And my area, definitely I know. So it is very important. All these things are already addressed or not. If this problem can be answered with the pure facility or you need additional facility, very important thing. Many times I have think that many a student, particularly science background and other, or anything, they write something which facilities are not actually available. Right, or nearby region, and they have given something facility. In my first project was cancelled by a very good project, but it was rejected by the CSIR. Then I inquired the matter. The sir kindly explained me different manner. I am a new guy, so I want to know what is my problem. He said that see, you are dependent upon this instrument. This instrument proposal is very nice. Most probably you have seen some good papers from foreign, and you wanted to multiply. But this, I mean, imply here. But thing is that these instrument facilities are not available in your institute, not in your region. So you have not written how you are going to do it. So under the circumstances, we are afraid that if you give you the money, you may not be able to complete your work and it will be rejected. So it is a loss of the money, we will not complete it. So this is very important. If you need additional facility, whether or not those facilities are available in your nearby region. So if I write a project nowadays, I know I need to say flow cytometer. It is not available. I will say it is available in IIT Guwahati. If it is more, then I will have a collaboration with them. Simply I will make me as a OPA. Those facilities. So nowadays it has become very easy because sitting in a single one, one cannot do a research. Research has to be done in collaboration. And we have a multiply nowadays collaborator in India as well as in abroad. Is sufficient expertise is available to you to address this problem? This is very important thing because where biodata is there, research papers are there, so reviewers are very competent to judge that whether I have this competent. If I write a project proposal, say nature and science are very good research paper in my area, right? Nobel laureate for office, and now from that I have something in my mind. I am not saying that it cannot be done, and I do not have expertise up to that, training up to that reason level, so then they will raise the doubt that whether I can do it or not, because they will give lots of money. Whether the expertise is with me or not. If I collaborate with someone, then it is good. Otherwise, they can say that you do not have expertise on that area, but you are writing this thing. How can you? So that will also lead to a rejection. So it is not that whatever thing I can write, same thing with the arts, humanities, and also one you write a project proposal, you should see that what is your expertise, what facilities are available. I want to say 1 year project. Somebody has written. I will visit all the states of this Northeast India. Now, these are some of the things I have to do. Grant submission to funding is what are the states, literature survey, should have the good library facility or cultural library. Nowadays, it is very good for particularly humanities and social science because there are no such, I believe online journals are not so much available where you depends upon the books. But science stream, many of the journals are now Science Direct and other, these are web-led. So, should have an internet access. We have, Tezpur University, very good internet access. Right? We have a very good telecom service and other services. To search engines and general database, Scout, Science Direct, PubMed, Google Scholar is a free of search engine, so one can search. Should have the access to national and international journals to know the latest development in the field and what has already been done in the chosen field of research. Review the literature must be done up to date and relevant to the project work. Proper and latest reference must be cited. One thing is also true, many of the things when PhD thesis or paper comes, we see whether the references are relevant or not. Writing grant and submitting to funding and see what are the steps. Defining objectives of the research. Now I will tell one by one. Selection of too many aim and objectives in a single project a bad research proposal. Initially I thought that in a project proposal, if I take too many objectives, my reviewer will be very happy and they have taken, oh, so much what we want to do. Then suppose I want to do a survey of Sonipur district or some for prevalence of all kind of diseases. Immediately will be rejected. I am thinking that I am going to get, but reviewer will know what is your competence, what work you are doing, why you are giving so many areas. Too many objectives. And it is bad. Another thing I am telling, sometimes our proposals come for revision and they bargain with us. क्या budget दिया है 72 लाख का no please come down no it is not good okay you come down inflated budget you come down 50 lakh no I agree okay I have come down from 72 lakh to 50 lakh for example but I did not cut down any of my objectives. I have given 4 objectives based on my 72 lakhs. 4 objectives remains. Can you do this 4 objectives then with the 50 lakhs? That means you have given inflated budget. Cheating, that is another cheating. But we see these are some of the things which I have experienced from my life. 72 lakh का project आ गया 50 lakh में. Now I have to execute the original objective and some other remains. There are some here and there and some money has come down. These are cut, these cut because government agency will always cut you. Project remains, the objective remains the same. Then how can you complete? That is another mistake, blunder. Then I realize objectives are not achievable within the target or within the budget of the proposal and bad proposal. Let me tell you, this is another thing. A proposal with inflated budget, a proposal which is under budget is also bad proposal. No discussion with expert, no co-peer collaborate in the proposal, a bad proposal. No discussion with experts in the field prior to defining objectives may lead to a bad proposal. Here, this is one of our top. Plan of work. Writing a plan of work without considering equipment, facilities available and whether the instruments are in working condition are not very important. Now, reading a project without a very short period of time is a good idea. Now, sufficient time must be given to writing proposal if necessary, consult with scientists working in the line of your research proposal. But as I said, most of the times proposals are given, time is very less, 1 month, very difficult, so and nurse you plan. That you have to work in this area, PhD line or maybe other line. You plan now that I have to work in this line, plan 3% from now. Considering that they will get some money, depending on the project. Writing a proposal when a major facility you are dependent on other scientists, please also include the scientists in the proposal as a PI, co-PI. As I said, that many of time I have IIT Mumbai, IIT Guwahati, Nehu, when I have several instruments which are exclusively dependent, then you put him as a co-PI. So under any circumstances, he cannot wash off your hands, so I don't know. It happens many times, I don't know. You have agreement, you have no written agreement, you cannot do. Suppose you have written a project proposal depending upon his facilities available or his expertise available, you please make him a co-PI. It is equally important in the case of humanities and another. When you are depending upon somebody else, take his or her advice and also if possible include him or her as a co-PI, then he or she will also get a credit, he or she will also get a small part of the money for travel and other thing, they will also be very interested. It also identifies who may look after the project when you are absent, retired, transfer. This is co-PI. Now this kind of problem we have been facing, but if OPI is there, very easy to solve. If there is no OPI, you have to write the funding agency. Requirement of manpower without proper justification must be provided. And now containing time frame to complete the target, goals of the research, milestone to be achieved must be shown and should be realistic time. The methodologies to failure should not be very difficult to understand and too long. These are the reasons for failure of the project. Now selection and submission of the funding agency is a time-taking process. Therefore, proper funding must be selected and wrong selection will reject the. If you are, this is very important. You are selecting which kind of funding agency, and I can also, it will know which funding agency has what kind of capacity to give what, how much of the money. Different funding agency has different kind of capacity that I cannot tell you, but if you can come and discuss, I will tell you. Select the funding agency depending on basis or applied research. Look for the opportunity, call for proposal by the funding agency. Many times calls comes, so you have to look for the proposal. Then it becomes very easy when you give a call. Submission of required copies of proposal. If 10 copies are required, give 10 copies. Many times they don't give the required copies and they don't distribute to the reviewers and so on. Nowadays they give PDF. To save your time and energy, if possible, pre-concept proposal may be sent for consideration. Sometimes they request for pre-concept proposal. Preparation of project defense in well advance. As I said, that project defense should be prepared in well advance. Even in this stage, should I go? This is the evaluation criteria for project. Quickly I am going. You should know this is the criteria generally I used to do in mostly the abroad. They write down, does the project have a potential to create a new knowledge? They ask the question. Is the proposed research project original in terms of hypothesis, research question, terminology, technology, methodology? Does the proposed research address a significant need or a research gap in the field? Does the proposal contain substantial review of related literature and published studies with appropriate edition? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. If no, why not? I have tried. Are the project's objectives clear, appropriate and relevant to the hypothesis and desired outcomes? The project address an important problem in the field? Are the appropriate facilities, equipments outlined? Are the proposed methodologies correct, appropriate and achievable? Are risky steps identified and have appropriate contingency plans have been introduced? Has preliminary work has been performed and that supports? Does the research team and possess adequate skill and knowledge to successfully form the proposed research? Indians they do not give, but the foreign eyes have evaluated several. From one, they ask this kind of question: is the management plan appropriate? Does the work plan clearly identify task and proposal? The person responsible for each task. If you multiply who are the project proposal and who are responsible, simply you have to tell very clearly that this is even in the research guide. Nowadays you have to explain very clearly. These are the objectives. What is the role of the supervisor? What is the role of the co-supervisor? So I say some of these things are very important. Most of the they say that fund is not released, not submission of UCSC in time. Say 31st April is the time for submission of the UCSC. If our UCSC is not ready, funding agency will not release the fund. By that time, if you submit, it has gone. I'm telling you. Up to August तक जिसने दिया उसको मिला, जिसको नहीं दिया उसको नहीं मिलेगा. हम लोग भी समझते. Incorrect UCSC many times not in a proper form. If UCSC is not correct, it comes to us many times also in a proper form to reject it. फेंक देते हैं उठा के. 2 महीना बाद आपको पता चलेगा it is a correct. जोड़ने में गलती है. Now it should be checked very carefully. Non-utilization of 80% of the research grant they will not give. Appointment of project staff and other expenditure not beyond obeying the rules of the funding. This is very important. See this constraint, so we can have remoteness of the area may be one problem. Very irresponsible behavior of many vendors, delay in getting the underwriters, see chemical or instruments. This is another problem we have faced. Many times taking AMC, FMC, they do not come for the when they come with big talk, right? When have to sell the instrument. After selling the instrument or chemical or equipment, they will run away, will never give the face. So these are some of the things we have observed. So we have noted. Delay in repairing most of the instruments supplier even within the warranty period. Do not take the responsibility instrument repair even after the expiry of warranty AMC. Expiry has gone, they will push you. A project staff may resign from the project, change the project without any prior notice. This is a very sad thing which happened. Manuscript writing, a project staff may resign from the project. Manuscript writing may not be applicable to all, but it is applicable. Writing a good manuscript and communication, it requires a skill. And if you can say your words, whatever you write very effectively. So one has, whether it is from science background, humanities background, law mein hota hai, you have very good command on the language. If there is no command on the language, if you do not write what to write exactly, then the problem comes and then you will not be able to express. So some of the, I think I do not have too many slides, I do not take your time. What's up project writing, execution of the projects I have in mind. University Institute of ordering process should be more streamlined. Okay, so these are the, so those sites have already been covered. So I definitely thanks to all the PIs, including you, for coming time to time and giving you useful suggestions.